When you finally stop chasing, something powerful begins to shift, not just in her, but in you. At first, it feels strange, almost empty, because you've been used to giving your time, energy, and attention to someone who didn't value it. But the moment you stop, that's when time steps in. It starts working for you quietly and effectively in ways you can't see immediately. You see, chasing someone who walked away only feeds their ego. It tells them they have control. But the second you let go, that illusion shatters. You take your power back, and whether she admits it or not, she feels that shift. When you stop reaching out, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop trying to prove your worth, that's when time becomes your greatest ally. It begins to create distance, not just physical, but emotional. That distance is where realization grows. She starts noticing your absence in the smallest things, the good morning texts that don't come anymore, the deep talks that are no longer there, the calm presence that once grounded her. At first, she might act unbothered, maybe even proud, as if losing you was her choice. But time doesn't lie. The days turn into weeks and weeks into months, and suddenly, what felt like power to her begins to feel like emptiness. The truth is, time has a way of exposing what's real and what's fake. In the beginning, she'll distract herself with friends, new experiences, or maybe even someone else. But distractions fade, and when they do, she'll find herself comparing everything and everyone to you. That's when it starts to hurt, not because of what you do, but because of what you don't do anymore. You see, by letting go, you're allowing time to show her what losing you really means. Every silent day that passes becomes a mirror reflecting her choices. Every memory that resurfaces becomes a quiet reminder of what she once had but couldn't hold on to. Meanwhile, time isn't just punishing her, it's healing you. It's allowing you to rebuild yourself in peace. The pain that once controlled you starts turning into strength. The urge to chase fades into clarity. You begin to see that walking away wasn't weakness, it was your greatest act of self-respect. You no longer feel the need to explain your worth because you understand that your silence says more than words ever could. Time gives you perspective, and with perspective comes power. You start focusing on your goals, your mindset, your peace, and slowly you become the version of yourself that you were always meant to be before the relationship clouded your vision. What's ironic is that this growth, this calm detachment, is exactly what begins to pull her attention back. Because deep down, she expected you to chase, to beg, to fall apart. But you didn't. You simply disappeared into your own world, and that silence becomes haunting. She'll start wondering if you've moved on, if you ever think about her, if you're happier without her. That's when regret begins to bloom, not in noise, but in silence. Not in anger, but in reflection. Letting time do its work doesn't mean waiting for her return. It means trusting that the truth always reveals itself in time. When someone loses something real, it's only a matter of time before they realize it. You don't need a reminder, you don't need to prove anything, you just need to let time speak for you. Because when you stop chasing and start focusing on yourself, time becomes the one thing she can't control. And it's the one thing that will eventually make her understand exactly what she walked away from. Because when you walk away in silence, time becomes your voice and it always tells the truth. In the beginning, she'll look like she's fine, maybe even happier than before. You'll see her smiling in pictures, hanging out with friends, living as if nothing ever happened. And that's where most men break. They assume she's moved on instantly, that she's forgotten everything, that the love you shared meant nothing. But what you don't see is that most of what she's showing isn't real, it's a mask. It's her ego trying to convince herself that she made the right choice. That's the illusion of moving on. And time is the only force that can strip that illusion away. You see, when a woman walks away, she often does it with emotion, not logic. In the heat of confusion, frustration, or pride, she convinces herself that she'll be better off. She starts creating stories in her mind to justify her decision. Maybe she tells herself, you weren't the one. Maybe she believes the grass will be greener somewhere else. But when time starts to stretch out, when the excitement fades and life gets quiet, that's when the truth creeps in. The illusion of moving on begins to dissolve slowly, piece by piece, until she's left with the reality she can't run from anymore. At first, she'll do what everyone does to fill a void. She'll distract herself. She might jump into another relationship or surround herself with new people, new places, new habits. But here's the thing about distractions. They always lose their power. The newness fades, the excitement runs dry, and the comparisons begin. That's when she starts realizing that not everyone will love her the way you did. Not everyone will have your patience, your calmness, or your way of understanding her emotions without judgment. What once felt replaceable starts to feel irreplaceable. That's when regret slowly begins its silent work. Time has a way of humbling people. It reveals what's real when the rush is gone. When the world quiets down, when the nights get long, and when the people she thought would replace you start to show their flaws, she'll start replaying the moment, evolving. And that's what makes time your greatest ally, because while she's trying to convince herself she's moved on, time is showing her that she hasn't. The illusion of moving on might make her look strong on the outside, but time always exposes the truth. She might pretend she's happy, but when she's alone, when the lights go out and there's no one left to impress, that's when the thoughts come. That's when she starts missing the little things, your consistency, your calm energy, your presence. Those are the things time doesn't erase. They only grow stronger in her memory. So don't be fooled by what you see at first. That first burst of confidence she displays isn't real peace, it's pride. And pride always fades when faced with silence and time. The truth is, time has no mercy. It strips away all illusions, all fake smiles, all temporary highs, until all that's left is the reality of what she lost. And when that moment comes, she'll realize it wasn't just you she walked away from. It was peace, love, and the version of herself she only had when she was with you. That's when time finishes its work, revealing what was hidden all along. Because no matter how strong the illusion of moving on seems, time always brings out the truth she tried so hard to bury. When you finally stop chasing her and shift your focus back to yourself, something starts to happen that she never expected. You grow. You evolve, you transform in ways she can't ignore. Even if she pretends not to see it, time starts working in your favor, because instead of sitting in pain, you begin using it as fuel. You pour your energy into becoming stronger, wiser, and more grounded. And as you rise, she starts to feel a contrast. The man she once knew, the one she took for granted, starts to disappear, replaced by someone far more confident, more composed, and more complete. That's when her regret begins to take root. At first, she may try to convince herself that you'll always be the same, that she can walk back into your life whenever she wants, but time proves her wrong. The version of you she left behind starts fading away as you grow into someone new. You stop reacting emotionally, you stop waiting, and you stop needing her validation. You realize that her leaving wasn't a curse, it was an opportunity. It forced you to face yourself, to rebuild, and to rise. That transformation is something time nurtures quietly, day by day, as you pour yourself into your purpose instead of your pain. And as you grow, that's when time turns your evolution into her mirror of regret. Because now, when she looks back, she doesn't see the same man she once knew. She sees the man she doubted thriving without her. She sees the man she underestimated becoming everything she said he couldn't be. She sees the peace she tried to break, now stronger than ever. That's when her pride starts to crumble. Because deep down, she starts comparing not just you to others, but who you are now to the man she once had and never appreciated. Your growth becomes the most painful reminder of what she lost. Every new success, every sign of your confidence, every glimpse of your happiness, without her, it eats away at the story she told herself when she left. Maybe she thought you'd chase. Maybe she thought you'd never move on. But when she sees that you did, when she sees that you became even better because of her absence, that's when her heart starts to question everything. Time amplifies that feeling. It stretches the distance between who you were and who you become, and the wider that gap gets, the more she feels the weight of her choice. You don't need to prove anything to her. You don't need to post or show off. Time handles that part for you. Because your peace, your growth, your glow, those are things that can't be faked. And when she eventually looks back, she'll realize that she didn't just lose a man, she lost the man you became because of her decision. That's a type of regret that doesn't fade quickly. It lingers. It grows stronger as time goes on. This is the beauty of letting time do the work. You didn't chase revenge. You didn't try to make her jealous. You simply evolved. And that's what makes it powerful, because your silence and progress are louder than any words could ever be. She'll start to wonder how you did it, how you managed to heal without her, how you built a new version of yourself while she was busy trying to fill the void with temporary distractions. That's when time completes its work. It turns your pain into progress and her pride into reflection. Because nothing hurts more than realizing the person you thought was replaceable turned out to be unforgettable. And time always reveals that truth when your growth becomes her greatest regret. Regret is not something that hits her all at once. It's not loud and it's never immediate. It builds slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. It's a slow burn, the kind of realization that sneaks up when she least expects it. When she first walks away, she feels relief. She feels free. She believes she made the right decision, that life will be better without you. But that's just the surface level emotion, the initial rush of ego, convincing her that walking away was strength. It takes time for reality to catch up, because time doesn't rush. It works patiently, revealing truth one layer at a time. As days turn into weeks and weeks into months, that illusion begins to fade. The excitement of freedom starts to wear off. The thrill of attention from others loses its shine. The faces change, the conversations become shallow, and the connections start to feel empty. And when she least expects it, the memories of you begin to creep in, the moments of comfort, the peace she felt around you, the laughter that came so easily. That's when the slow burn of regret begins. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It begins as a whisper, a thought, a feeling, a question in the back of her mind. Did I make a mistake? She won't admit it at first, not even to herself. Her pride won't let her, so she fights it. She distracts herself, tells herself you probably moved on, convinces herself she's happy. But time keeps working, pulling down every layer of denial she tries to build. The same time that once seemed to favor her when she appeared to be doing fine now starts turning against her. Every new day that passes without your presence becomes another reminder of what she lost. Every silent night becomes a moment where the thought of you returns uninvited. And every time she sees you growing, smiling, and at peace, it adds fuel to that slow fire of realization. Regret doesn't rush, because true regret is born from awareness. It's not about missing the attention or the comfort. It's about realizing the value of what she walked away from. That understanding takes time. She'll start replaying moments in her head, the arguments that didn't really matter, the times you tried to make things right, the love you gave freely. And slowly she begins to see that her decisions weren't as justified as she once thought. That's when the slow burn turns into a deeper ache, one that time won't easily erase. You see, while she's going through this internal battle, you're no longer the same man she left. You've grown, you've adapted, you've healed. Time has been kind to you because you allowed it to be. You didn't fight against it. You embraced the pain, learned from it, and turned it into strength. Meanwhile, she's just beginning to feel what you already faced months ago. That's the irony of time. It heals one person and humbles the other. Her regret deepens when she realizes you're not waiting anymore. You're not checking her posts, not asking mutual friends about her, not lingering in the same emotional place. Time has separated you both, but in completely different directions, you toward peace and her toward reflection. And that's the beauty of it all. You didn't need to do anything. You just let time take its course, and it did exactly what it always does. It showed the truth. Because real regret doesn't explode, it unfolds slowly, like a shadow that grows darker with every passing day. And by the time she finally understands what she lost, time has already taken you too far away to turn back. Silence and distance, these are the two most powerful weapons you can ever use after she walks away. Most men make the mistake of trying to talk their way back into a woman's heart, believing that words can change her mind or make her see their worth. But when emotions are high and pride is in control, words fall on deaf ears. That's why silence works differently. Silence isn't weakness, it's presence without noise. It's confidence without explanation. It's the energy that makes her feel what she refused to hear. When you go silent and let distance do its job, time becomes your ally, and regret starts to build inside her slowly, like a weight she can't shake off. When you stop chasing, stop calling, stop checking in, that's when the silence starts echoing in her world. At first, she might think you're playing a game. She'll tell herself you'll come back, that you'll eventually give in because that's what she expects. But when you stay consistent, when you maintain that peace and control, her confidence starts to fade. The silence grows louder. She begins to feel the absence that your presence once filled so effortlessly. That's when the mind games she thought she was winning start to backfire. Because silence has a way of creating questions, and questions create doubt. Distance magnifies that silence. It doesn't just keep her away physically, it separates her emotionally and mentally from the version of you she once knew. When she can't access your energy, when she can't predict your next move, when she realizes you've stopped revolving around her, that's when curiosity becomes confusion and confusion becomes regret. The same distance she thought she wanted now feels uncomfortable. She'll start to wonder what you're doing if you've moved on, if someone else has your attention now. And the longer you stay silent, the more her mind starts filling in the blanks, and that's where time quietly does its damage. You see, silence doesn't demand attention, it earns it. It makes people notice what they took for granted. When you respond with silence instead of reaction, you're showing her something powerful, that you have emotional control. You're not desperate, you're not chasing validation, you're focused on peace. And peace to someone living in emotional chaos becomes irresistible. She'll start missing that calm energy she once had from you. She'll replay moments in her head, realizing that your presence was her stability. That's how silence begins to shift from something she thought she wanted to something she deeply regrets. The truth is, silence teaches better lessons than words ever could. It allows her to feel the consequences of her choices. Every unanswered message, every day you don't reach out, every moment she doesn't hear from you, it all adds up. It creates space for her to realize what she's truly lost. And here's the thing about time and distance. They don't heal the regret she feels, they intensify it. Because while she's missing you, you're outgrowing her. While she's replaying memories, you're creating new ones. That imbalance is what makes the silence hit harder with each passing day. Eventually, this silence becomes louder than any message you could ever send. It starts to bother her not because she hates it, but because it reminds her that she no longer has access to you. That's the moment when the regret becomes real, when she finally realizes that the distance isn't just space, it's a boundary. It's the proof that you've moved beyond needing her validation. So don't break your silence for temporary attention. Don't chase closure from someone who already showed you what you meant to them. Let the silence speak for you. Let distance protect you. Because what you'll find is that silence always wins in the end. gives her the time to realize what she lost, and it gives you the peace to never need her back again. When she finally starts to realize what she's lost, it won't happen with noise, drama, or some grand apology. It'll happen quietly in moments she never expected. Regret doesn't announce itself. It creeps in slowly like a whisper that grows louder with every reminder of what used to be. At first, she'll try to ignore it, convincing herself that she made the right choice. But as time goes on, when the excitement fades and the reality of emptiness sets in, that's when the truth hits her. She lost someone who loved her deeply, and now she can't get that version of you back. You see, regret is a mirror time holds up to our past. It shows her what she gave up, what she broke, and what she can't recreate again. It's not about her missing you as a person. It's about her missing the peace, the stability, the energy, and the love that you once brought into her life. She'll meet new people, try to replace you, laugh with someone else, but deep down, none of it feels the same. Because once she experiences a man who was genuine, patient, and emotionally grounded, no amount of new attention can replace that authenticity. That's when she starts to compare, and every comparison only deepens her regret. What makes the regret even heavier is your transformation. She'll see that the same man who once gave her his world has now built a better one without her in it. You're calmer, stronger, more focused, and that's what eats away at her silently. Because in her story, she expected you to crumble. She thought you'd beg, chase, and never move on. But when you did the opposite, when you let go, leveled up, and stayed silent, she lost control of the narrative. And losing control over the person she thought she could always come back to, that's the kind of regret that lingers forever. There will be a day when she looks at your progress and wonders if she ever truly knew your worth. That's how time teaches lessons words never could. She'll replay the good moments, remembering the comfort she felt when she was around you. She'll remember the way you used to care, how you understood her when no one else did. And as those memories surface, the guilt of her decisions will begin to weigh heavier than she ever imagined. That's when she starts realizing the problem was never you. It was her lack of understanding your value when she had the chance. And by the time she truly regrets it, you'll be in a different place. You'll have outgrown the pain, the confusion, the need for validation. Her regret won't move you anymore because you've already found peace within yourself. You'll understand that her return or apology doesn't define your healing. What defines it is how you never lost yourself trying to hold on to someone who wasn't ready to stay. That's the real power when her regret meets your indifference. When she finally feels the weight of losing a man who didn't just love her, but was capable of walking away for his own peace. So let her regret unfold naturally. Don't rush it, don't chase it, and don't hope for it. The universe has its own way of balancing things. What's meant for you will never need to be forced, and what's not meant for you will eventually reveal itself through time and silence. She will regret it not because you wished it, but because it's inevitable when someone walks away from real love. You don't need to make her see what she lost. Life will show her in ways you never could. And when that day comes, you won't need her to say a word because her silence will say it all.